Welcome to video tutorial number 16, and we're going to be showing you the ear. And now the ear is done with moss stitch, which is a really pretty stitch, which is created by knitting one and then purling one, and then on the next row we purl one then knit one, and it gives this lovely crisscross effect. So the ears and also the tail are made with the moss stitch effect. It can also be called seed stitch, but moss stitch is more common in the UK, so we refer to it as moss stitch. There is an explanation at the beginning of the pattern as well, so if you forget how to do it when you're not on there watching a video, you can refer to that. I'd also want to mention as well about not forgetting to look at all the helpful pictures that we have. So there's quite a lot of pictures, and we keep them all together toward the back because we do have people that can already knit will be making this. Sometimes they don't want all of the step-by-step videos, so photos, so they're at the end. And again, on the PDF, if it was a download, some people don't want to print all that off, so we keep them separate. But don't forget to refer to the pictures because they are a lot of help. So we're going to get started, and it says to cast on 10 stitches, leaving 40 centimetre strand. So I'm making the usual slip knot. We are going to cast on 10. I'll zoom in slightly so you can see closer what we are doing, and then I'll show you how to do the moss stitch. So let's cast on 10 to start. That's 1, 2, oops, that one's split a little bit, so I'll pull it back out because we don't want split stitches. So 3, 4, 5. It's very important that you have got an even number of stitches with this, because if not, we don't want to accidentally, the pattern will go wrong if we don't do it precisely correct. So make sure that it's, you know, you're focusing on the knitting when you're doing the moss stitch, because it's very easy to get mixed up. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have one more stitch, and then row 1 of the pattern says knit 1, purl 1, and the instruction is in brackets, and then it says times 5. So we're going to knit 1, purl 1 5 times. So we'll start with a knit. And what we have to do now, because the wool is in the wrong position to do a purl, when we're purling it needs to be at the front. So we're going to bring it forward before we start the purl stitch in between the needles. And then we purl as normal. And then to knit, we need to pass it through the centre to the back. So before you start your knit stitch, put the wool to the back. And before you start your purl stitch, put the wool to the front. So we've done knit purl once, so now we're doing a knit purl twice. That's 2 knit wrong purl ones. So knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. So we've done that all the way along. And then the next row, let's just check what the next row is going to be. Right, we are going to be doing purl 1, knit 1. So we're doing exactly the same thing but the opposite way around. So we're going to start with a purl stitch and then do a knit stitch. And we're repeating that 5 times. Oops, I haven't put that over properly. Let's just put that back on there. I think I accidentally didn't knock the stitch off at the end. So purl 1 and then knit 1, and we're going to repeat that along the whole row. And then it's just a matter of remembering to pull your wool back or forward before you start the stitches. So to a purl, take it back, then a knit, pull it forward, purl, move the wool back, knit, pull it forward, purl, and then we're going to end on a knit stitch because we've done it the opposite way around. And I'm going to show you the effects so you can see what it's looking like. As you can see, those are the knit stitches that look like a V, and those are the purl stitches that look like a line. So if now you had got mixed up and you can't remember what you're starting with, you can look at the work as it's facing you ready to start, and that with a line across is a purl. So your first stitch needs to be a knit, and this one, as you can see, is a knit stitch because it's the V. So that one, the second one, would need to be a purl stitch. So you can see what's next, and keep an eye on this to make sure the pattern doesn't start looking wrong, because if it goes wrong you will need to pull it back out, because it just takes a little bit of focusing to get that right. Now the next section on your pattern tells you to repeat those rows 9 more times for those 2 rows, rows 1 and 2, which is 18 rows in total. So for the next row, you're going to do the knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1 to the end, and then the row after that will be purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1. So we're just repeating that pattern until you've done another 9 sets of those 2 rows, which is the equivalent of 18 rows. So it'd be really handy to use a stitch counter or use a piece of paper and a pen and mark them all down so you know exactly how many you are up to. And then what we're going to do is I am going to meet you back at row 21 to start row 21, and then we will continue from there, and we will show you how to finish the ear and also how to sew it to get the lovely ear shape. So we're going to show you from there. So once you've got finished row 20, you'll be ready to start the next video, and we'll show you how to complete it so you've got that lovely ear shape ready to make. We'll see you shortly.